Hi everybody, my name is Keeley and welcome back to my reading nook. Usually I have you flipped around and my reading nook is on my bed, but I kind of liked it last video with my bookshelf in the background, so I'm gonna keep that just for today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a good week. I've been having a really busy week. I've been having a really busy month. It's not been my best reading month ever. I've only finished 2 books so far. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to do a final push of September and hopefully my wrap up will be a little bit less pitiful. But sometimes you have busy times and that's okay. Yeah, so today I figured, I'm just kind of cozy, having a little bit of a sleepy night. And so I figured I would film a tag. And the tag that I'm gonna do is called the Reading Habits tag, and it was created by The Book Jazz. Yeah, so this basically is a tag where you answer questions about like your reading habits, where you read, what you do with your books, all that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be fun. And just a chill little video, get yourself a snack, we can hang out together. Yeah, so I hope you guys are having a good reading month and let's get into it. If you see me look down there, that's because I have my phone with the questions on it. Okay, the first question is, do you have a certain place at home for reading? I love reading in my bed. I know that's not everybody's favorite place, but I love reading in my bed. I think it's so cozy. I also love reading on my couch, but I have to be comfy. Can't be reading in uncomfortable chairs. I like snuggly, cozy places to really get a good read on. 2 is bookmark or random piece of paper. That one's so tough because I love bookmarks. I have so many. I get so many when I buy books from bookstores, and specifically like the independent bookstores around me. They always give you so many bookmarks and they're like shoved somewhere in the books that are on my shelf. But the problem is that when I pull one out, unless it has one in it that I put in it when I put it on my shelf, I'm not gonna like dig through the books that I have on my shelf to find one. So most of the time it's random piece of paper. I love a receipt bookmark. I love a torn off piece of napkin. Anything. I love using the book jacket like if it's a hardcover with a book jacket, I love using that as the bookmark. So I'm not a huge like conscious bookmark user kind of reader. I don't know, I'd be curious to see what other people say about that. I would like to have like really nice bookmarks and like consistently use them, but hasn't ever been me before and I don't know if it will be me in the future. Okay, can you just stop reading or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? I absolutely have to stop after a certain number of pages or a chapter. I cannot stop in the middle of a chapter. I can't stop in the middle of a paragraph. And that is why I also have a hard time stopping at the end of a chapter if it's a cliffhanger, because I just want to keep going until there's like a satisfying point to stop reading. I am impressed by people who can just stop in the middle and just be like, I'll pick it up later when I pick it up. But no, that is not me. I have to have a specific threshold. Do you eat or drink while reading? I always try to. I kind of like set out to do so, like a cozy drink like tea or like just a good snack. But I think what always ends up happening is I end up like being distracted by one or the other, and either I don't eat because I'm reading or I don't read because I'm eating. I would like to be better at multitasking on that, but I always set out to like it seems like it'll be a good idea in my head to like make a nice meal and then sit down with my book, but that's never how it actually happens in real life. Ooh, this one's good. Multitasking. Music or TV while reading? Yes or no? No. I thought about it for a second and I was like, do I do that? Absolutely not. I can't do that with readings for school or for pleasure. No. My brain can only focus on the one thing. Like I find that I can still read if like there's commotion around me, like people in my house or like family members or friends. But if there's like music playing or a show, I will not be able to like just focus on the book. Like I'll find myself directing my attention to the music or to the TV show. while I'm trying to get progress in my book. So it's not for me, but I do respect those of you out there who, you know, listen to classical music and read like Wuthering Heights. It's not me, but I wish it was. One book at a time or several at once. This one's hard. I have kind of always been a one book at a time person. I don't know. I think I've always been a one book at a time person, but I've tried to be a multi-book kind of gal in the past. But I find that I just end up going full force for the one that I'm reading that I'm super interested in and kind of ditching the others, if that makes sense. So if I pick up multiple books, to me it kind of signals that I'm not interested in the one that I was reading. Like I wasn't interested enough to like not want to read another book and just keep reading that one. So what ends up happening is I just kind of ditch the one that I started out with and I end up reading the next one, and then it, you know, it's a vicious cycle. But I have a friend from home who is so good at this. Like she'll have like 6 books going at one time and she is perfectly content. But I don't know, maybe I'll try that out this month because like I said, I'm trying to like kind of do a final September push and like try and get more books on my wrap up. But in order to do that, maybe I'll have to like really switch up like how I'm feeling, and have different books that I can turn to when I'm feeling like different ways. And hopefully that'll help me read more. I don't know, I'll check back. Maybe I'll do this tag in the future and like see if my reading preferences have changed. But as of now, I'm a one book at a time person. Reading at home or everywhere. That's really hard because it's another one that I try to do but doesn't really work out, if that makes sense. Same thing as the food one. So I think I have to say reading at home, even though I bring a book everywhere. So every book I'm reading, it's constantly in my backpack or like my tote bag purse, as if I'll have time to like sit down and fit in a chapter, which, like, to be honest with you, never happens. Like the only time that I do pick it up and like take it out of the bag and read is if in the back of my head I've been like planning to do that at whatever place I'm going. So like over the summer a couple times I went to the park to meet up with some friends, and then I planned to like stay after and read. But it wasn't like spontaneous. Like I just never find that I have the time when I'm out to like pull out the book, but I always in my head like subconsciously think that I will, and so I pack my book everywhere. It's like a safety blanket. But I don't know, it's very Rory Gilmore of me, but you know, you never know. Sometimes I think that I will have time, but it's rare. It's very rare. Reading out loud or silently in your head. 100% silently in my head for me. I like reading out loud like to people. If there's like people around that want to hear the story, I would love to read out aloud to them. But if I'm reading for myself, 100% in my head. But for school reading, sometimes I'll like whisper them as I read them, and I find it kind of helps me with retention. But when I'm reading for pleasure, I'm more of like a passive reader. Oh, this one's good. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? No. Oh God, no. That to me is like sacrilege. I'm sure there's people out there that do that, and like more power to you, but no. Why would you want to get spoiled? What would be the point of that? I hate when I accidentally flip to the wrong page and like read a page in the future and now I know something that's gonna happen. Or like when you're in a really tense scene, so your eyes like jump to the bottom. I have to do that thing where I like put my hand on the bottom of the page to like stop myself from jumping ahead. Yeah. Okay, breaking the spine or keeping it like new. I'm not opposed to breaking the spine, I just don't do it really. If that makes sense. Like most of my books, like the spines aren't broken. Like I just think that I'm a very like kind of reader. And I don't really like bend it and like stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like I think it's kind of pretentious to like tell other people what they can and can't do with their books, you know what I mean? But I don't know, it just never like occurred to me. I think there's like it's like inherent, like you're born with it if you're a bend the spine kind of person or not. But I never have been. I don't know, maybe I will be in the future. And then the last question is, do you write in your books or annotate them? I have tried to be an annotator. I think it's so impressive. I really do. I think it's very impressive. I think it's cool because, you know, later in your life you can look back at books you read during like pivotal moments and see where your head was at, see where your thoughts were. But I've just never been an annotator. For me, it doesn't enhance the process of reading, it inhibits like my flow. And I know that's not the same for other people, and that's awesome if it's not the same for you, but for me it just kind of puts a damper on things. And then in terms of writing in my books, like aside from purposefully annotating, there's been times where I've like highlighted a section or like underlined a section, but I'm not really somebody who revisits my books. Like I'm not really a rereader. So it doesn't really do much for me to like annotate my books because I don't go back and look at them, and I don't know. It's just not for me, like as of now. I would love for it to be because I think it's really great and it's a cool kind of time capsule of where you're at, but it just didn't, it's not my style. It's not my style, which is okay. But like, I think you can tell I'm kind of like a very boring, like reading habits kind of person. Like my spines aren't bent, my books aren't highlighted or written in, like, oh, dog-earing the pages, that's a question too. It wasn't on this tag, but I've seen it in other versions of this. And I don't dog-ear the pages. I don't have a problem with, I mean, like, do what you want, kind of, but I'm a very, like, I don't know what the word is, but I'm kind of like type A, and I just like for it to be, like, once I bought a new book, like, I want to, like, preserve it the way that it was. It's, like, so pretty and crisp and new. So I don't dog-ear the pages, but I do think they make a book look very well loved. And I think that's awesome if that's your style. But it's just not mine. And maybe these things will change. Like I said, maybe I'll do this tag again. And we'll see. Maybe I'm going to be someone who eats while I read and dog-ears my pages and writes all over my books, and I'm like a really intense annotator and the spines are totally broken. But as of now, most of the books on my shelf look like I just bought them, even though I've read them. So, I don't know, do with that what you will. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Just a short little fun video. Thank you so much for coming to my reading nook and hanging out with me for a second. I would love to know some of your answers to these questions, because I think they're really good, like, get to know a person questions. And, you know, no hate to anybody, no matter what you do with your books, do what you want. Yeah, thanks for stopping by my reading nook, and I will see you next time. Bye.